The second season of Amazon Prime Video's Bandish Bandits, quietly swooping in and making me feel love like few shows and movies in 2024, was a year-ending twist that I didn't see coming, but one I'm deeply grateful for. More than the vanilla storytelling, it was the unlikely composition of concepts and fusion remix of ideas in the first season that I was so taken by. A sincere celebration of Hindustani classical music brought to life through a curious jugalbandi of love story meets family drama meets rise of an artist story. Bandish Bandits is a clash of generations story, a preserving culture story, and a fable of art and artists and how they engage with the world and how the world sees them. Musicians with an almost mythological devotion to their craft, forced to navigate conflicts of compromise and integrity, of finding their audience and honing their voice. Stubbornly clinging to the old versus embracing the new. Selling out versus staying true to yourself. Traditional versus modern. Purist versus populist. Mainstream versus indie. The unfindable balance. Like the musicians it follows, with its second season, Bandish Bandits has come into its own. This tremendously well-plotted second chapter from writer-director Anand Tiwari and his fellow writers Atmika Didwania, Karan Singh Tyagi, Sejal Pachisia and Digant Patil does a glorious job of mining the world of music for human drama and rooting a deeply felt tale of art and artists in love and connection. Pandit Radhe Mohan Rathore, the imperious stern patriarch of the Rathore family, played by Nasiruddin Shah, has now passed away, leaving a void in the directionless Rathore family who must find their way forward under the weight of his immense legacy. Panditji may have passed on, but his presence is felt through every fibre of this season, and in particular by his grandson and successor, Radhe, played by an impressive Ritwik Bhowmik. To preserve and promote his family's gharana, artistry and way of life, and help bring his grandfather's rich classical compositions to the world, Radhe is convinced by his manager, Argya, played by a crackling Kunal Roy Kapoor, to sign up and participate in the prestigious India Band Championship. Also looking to take part in the very same televised music competition is pop sensation and Radhe's ex, Tamana, played by a stunning Shreya Chaudhry. After realizing her shortcomings as an auto-tune friendly singer by working with Radhe last season, Tamana enrolls herself into a prestigious music school to rediscover her voice and rekindle the artist in her. The well-structured season beautifully contrasts Radhe and Tamanna's interconnecting, overlapping journeys. Radhe is the buzzing new singer and undeniable talent in search of stardom to further the classical music cause of his family. Tamanna is the popular star deciding to step away from it all to reconnect with and rediscover her talent. He's a rebel with a cause. She's still in search of hers. While Radhe must navigate stages, managers and bands that would have him compromise and dilute his artistry, Tamanna sets out to discover hers for the first time. Above all, this season of Bandish Bandits is about love. Radhe and Tamanna are for me one of the most thoughtful, interesting and deeply felt romances I've come across on screen this year. The scattered, soul-searching big city starlet and the stiff, devoted singer with the weight of the world on his shoulders. Led by two sparkling performances, you feel every beat of their push and pull romance. The power struggle, the insecurity, the painful silences and everything that goes unsaid. I loved how the series explores their delicate, inextinguishable connection. You can feel why they belong and why they could perhaps never be. It's not easy to craft a show-defining romance that's rarely heavy-handed and silly, and nor is it shallow, irritating will they, won't they territory. Instead, the makers marvelously keep you on that heart-tugging line between hopeful and tragic, between what if and if only. Elsewhere too, it's about love. The tender silences between Radhe's mother Mohini, played by delightful Shiba Chadda, and Digvijay, played by Atul Kulkarni, as lovers torn apart before they could happen, now partially reunited by a common cause. Similarly, Tamanna's music teacher Nandini, played by a well-cast Divya Datta, is the musician who can't untangle her art from the artist she fell for. A love need not last for it to define us. Or even the bond within the Rathore family, gradually healing and learning to grow together, bound together by the love of the patriarch they could never understand. It's to the credit of the storytelling and these performances that these lofty ideas of the messy overlap between romantic connection and the devotion to your art form never feel gimmicky or melodramatic. Equally remarkable is that the big twists, character pivots, redemptions and betrayals this season never feel random or forced but organic to the characters. Plot and character come together beautifully as a single voice. Season 2 of Bandish Bandits also offers one of my favorite ensemble casts in recent memory. Every time a performance charms you, there's another one right around the corner waiting to do the same. Not to mention the joys of seeing actors like Rajesh Talang and Shiba Chadda's stature as Radhe's parents getting meaningful arcs. But no character brought me as much joy as Kunal Roy Kapoor as the foul-mouthed brand manager Argya. No one does the lovable buffoon quite like Kunal, and he has an absolute blast with the role, doing what he does best, as the provider of the best punchlines who's equally unafraid to become one himself. How I wish we could watch him on screen more often. Equally memorable is the scene-stealing Paresh Pahuja as Mahi, the band leader of a fusion group. As Mahi, Paresh is an absolute firecracker. It's a treat to watch him oscillate between deceptively laid-back stillness and rhythmic, vibrating intensity. Mahi is a character who could have easily been painted as a villain, but the show and Paresh's performance insist on having us empathize and understand him as he calls out the hypocrisy and snooty gatekeeping often associated with classical music. Speaking of the music, while it isn't Shankar Ehsaan Loy behind the album this time, music supervisor Akash Deep Sen Gupta and his armada of talented composers step up to the plate admirably and deliver another foot-tapping, soulful soundtrack. The fusion tracks of the India Band Championship in particular are a delight, as is the way the onstage performances are framed as nothing short of electric set pieces. At their finest, these sequences see character, story, emotion, and music jammed together gloriously. Watch how a certain rock-inspired performance serves as a deeply affecting character moment for Rajesh Talang's Rajendra Rathore. Not to mention the emotionally charged semi-final of the competition, which sees two characters go head-to-head. I stepped away from the second season of Bandish Bandits feeling hopeful and possible. Somewhere along the way, the show took me back and reminded me why I fell for the movies in the first place. What can be more pure and primal on screen than watching a boy standing in front of a girl telling her he doesn't know how to stop loving her? You can watch the second season of Bandish Bandits on Amazon Prime Video. For more reviews like this, subscribe to The Hollywood Reporter India.